I am particularly pleased with the theme leading with Ubuntu, the African youth transforming the continent. I think, as a bit of historical perspective, the concept of Ubuntu came timely to the continent of Africa after the writings of philosopher Hegel and Levi-Bruhl that pointed to the misdirection of African history. And as a reaction, African philosophers, better known as ethno-philosophers, gathered to give different contexts of Africa's history and philosophy. If it were not for Kwasi Wirede with the concept of consensual democracy from Ghana, then it was Bernard Montolino with personhood from South Africa. The young person of Africa in the 20th century was characterized by being a tool for political mobilization, for activism, and even the heavy mobilization in the many different spaces. The young person in the 21st century today is a volunteer. The young person in the 21st century today, with the exposure of technology, is a problem solver and a co-creator. And that is the generation I am proud to stand before and other than being part of. So thank you so much, CorpsAfrica, for this. We have more or less a similar program in governance. I believe it is the prerogative of my dear CS to give details to it. But we have the President's Award scheme here in Kenya, which is more or less a volunteer program for young people from the age of 14 to 24. And I believe, as has been directed by my CS, this is a platform we can explore opportunities for partnership between CorpsAfrica and our State Department to see that we give the young people of Kenya equally a chance to contribute to nation.
And Kenya, therefore, we are proud to support transformative initiatives like CorpsAfrica, which places young people at the center of social transformation through skills and tools they gain while solving the very challenges that affect them and their communities. And I think this resonates with what Jacob said about the difference between the youth of 20th century and the youth of 21st century. So this model aligns closely with the government agenda of mainstreaming the youth in all facets of development. The Kenya government has created a very big platform to connect youth with opportunities. And therefore, the CorpsAfrica's model of youth center, locally led and solution-oriented development reaffirms the fact that the youth are perhaps the most catalyst for Africa's development and whose agency must be recognized, supported, and institutionalized. The Kenya School of Government, being the gracious host, also plays a pivotal role in delivering some of these programs and strengthening leadership capacity at all levels. Through these initiatives, we blend skills development, real-world experience, and community engagement. Yet we know that there are gaps, so voluntarism is still largely under-recognized in national labor frameworks, and youth who dedicate a year or more to community service deserve certification, skills validation, and pathways to employment. Through the National Voluntarism Policy, which is currently under review, we aim to create spaces for broader recognition and rewarding of voluntarism as a driver of civic engagement and social capital. We are working to close these policy and regulatory gaps, and of course, we'll do a robust public participation with the youth by integrating voluntarism into our national employment strategy and align it with Vision 2030 and the Africa Union Agenda 2063.
Africa, as you all know, has the youngest population. I think it was mentioned out there, with 70% of Africa being youth under 35. And as it was said, it will reach a time in every 3 people, 1 of them will be an African. Sometimes people frame this as a crisis, but it's actually not a crisis. We see this as Africa's greatest untapped asset. Young people are not looking for handouts. They just need a platform. They're not looking for savings, but a space where they can lead and be the change that they want to see. So through volunteerism, we equip them with employability skills, civic agency, entrepreneurial drives. And we give them real responsibility, we trust them, and in turn, we co-create tangible impact. It was found that volunteerism contributes to 3.66, call it almost 4% of the GDP. Now that's in the formal sector. A lot of volunteerism happens in the informal sector. If I was to make an approximation, I'd actually think the impact is 10 times more than what we put in here. And if volunteerism can impact GDP at that level, then we cannot look at volunteerism as just being good, goodwill. It has to be a strategy embraced in policy, embraced in government institutions. It needs to be funded. In other words, governments need to put aside funds that support volunteerism as a strategy so that we can actually see the kind of development that we are looking at. I want to talk a little bit about volunteerism in our own country here. In 2022, the Ministry of Public Service drafted the National Volunteerism Policy. It still has not become a bill, and I just heard that now volunteerism has shifted ministries, and I'm really delighted that now we are sitting in the Ministry of Youth, because at my age it's a bit hard to volunteer, but with the youth, with their energy, then that is where it should be placed. We would really wish, as a request to the ministry, Bwana PS, to have this policy actually be passed as a bill in Parliament, hopefully this year. Because once we do that, if we get that goodwill and we get this policy passed as a bill, then we will get allocation of funds. It will be part of strategy, and we need to recognize volunteerism as a valued credential even when it comes to civil service recruitment. In other words, if a volunteer comes in and says they've volunteered for a year, it needs to count for something when it comes to an employability. This gathering is about amplifying our voice by elevating stories of impact and showcasing the African youth in what they do. They are not a problem to solve, they are the catalyst for change. The youth are our partners in development, an important catalyst in transformation, and they are the real architects behind a united Africa. This year's conference is themed Leading with Ubuntu, African Youth Transforming the Continent. This is more than a slogan. This is a rallying call to center community-led and youth-driven development as we champion and celebrate our youth transformation through volunteerism. Ladies and gentlemen, through African philanthropy, innovation, and deep-rooted community knowledge, our young people are solving challenges at various levels, be it food security or education gaps. They are turning the cry for jobs and entrepreneurship into action. They are advancing the sustainable development goals at grassroots levels. Here in Kenya, from our communities in Kakamega, Kitui, all the way to Tharaka-Nithi, we have created impact that resonates with the SDGs, SDG 1, 4, 8, 10, and 17. On completing their service, our volunteers become alumni. They merge into jobs, but they don't only just merge into jobs, they become job creators, innovators, and change makers in the marketplace, highlighting how community ownership and African giving models can and are sustained. Over these 5 days, we will engage in powerful dialogues, skill-building workshops, mutual learning, exchanges, policies, roundtables, and youth-led innovation showcasing. We'll witness firsthand the catalytic impact of community-led initiatives that are driven and facilitated by our volunteers. As we embark on this extraordinary week, I invite you all to embody the spirit of Ubuntu. I am because we are. Let us co-create solutions together. Let us contribute and deepen our partnerships and discussions. This is a great platform to address the myriads of challenges that we have around the continent. Therefore, let us work together, let us co-create, let us collaborate, and look forward to a great time at this conference. Thank you so much. Asante.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. No, we can do better than that. We've said we are here, we are embracing the spirit of youth. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
That's much better. Thank you very much. My name is Stella Kidera. I am a proud CorpsAfrica alumna. I served in the second cohort in Kenya, and currently I am the conference coordinator for this beautiful conference that has brought us all together here. Thank you very much. So for me, I call CorpsAfrica my saving grace. And why is this? I was the typical youth. I was been told all my life the only thing that I needed to do was to work hard, to do great in school, and once I am done, the world will open up to me. And when I finished, I had the shock that I know a lot of us in this room can actually relate to. It felt like I had been duped, because why is it that all of a sudden I stand here as a university graduate and all of a sudden the world has closed up? I didn't get an opportunity to do anything. I applied for countless jobs. Let me tell you something, LinkedIn was like my daily bread. Every single day I used to wake up in the morning, look at job applications, apply, but nothing really bear fruit. It was even more heartbreaking because even when it came to opportunities to volunteer, there was still a blockage. Can you imagine just wanting to serve, wanting to give of yourself, and still you feel like there's a blockage and you need to add something extra for you to serve in whatever capacity. That's when I encountered CorpsAfrica. I literally remember that day. It was March 29th. I will never forget, 2023. Someone sent me an application. I applied. I went through the website, and I literally couldn't believe that someone created a space specifically tailor-made for me. And it embraced everything that the world shunned me for, that I was young and inexperienced. So CorpsAfrica really gives that space for young people to really come and to show what what they can be able to do. To be these leaders that we've been told that every single day in our lives that, you know what, you can be able to do all these things, you are great, but CorpsAfrica actually opens that door for you to do that. For me, I truly needed CorpsAfrica because I had gotten to a space where I didn't believe in myself, because I thought I was not good enough. But CorpsAfrica opened that door. It took me in, and you can literally look at me here. I'm a testament. They've held my hand since the time that I started volunteering. In 2023, 2 years later, I'm still here. So with CorpsAfrica, it just does not stop at giving you a door and opening a door for you to really be able to grow in your professional career, in your personal growth, and just the holistic approach, but also once you are done, they give you an opportunity as an alumni to continue holding your hand, and you're able to, they open up the world to you, get a lot of opportunities, not only based on what they give you, but they also link you up to partners and all these people that you can be able to grow in your career. So for me, I would literally urge everyone else that it is important for all of us to come and to study from CorpsAfrica, learn from what CorpsAfrica is doing, and to embrace that, because we cannot be able to do it alone. But if everyone else joins forces and we are able to keep at it, learn from the model, we can really be able to give the youth of Africa the voice that we keep on telling them that they have. Thank you.
Ubuntu is about embracing empathy, mutual respect, responsibility, and a communal well-being. It teaches us about collective decision-making and communal support. The African youth who are here today, and many who are out there, are our hope to achieve this. The African youth is the change maker on the continent of Africa. We have the numbers. The youth constitutes over 60% of Africa's total population. The African youth is transforming Africa by creating solutions through social enterprise, social influence, innovation, and sustainable development. This conference, therefore, aims to reinforce the spirit of Pan-Africanism and youth-led initiatives. The conference amplifies the voices of African youth and encourage them to embrace Ubuntu-inspired leadership. There is need to challenge the delegates in this conference to formulate education policies and curricula from African schools, universities, technical colleges, and communities that nurture Ubuntu leaders for Africa. Such a practical approach by conference will go a long way to prepare African youth to be effective agents of change, growing to become more authentic and ethical leaders. Even more pressing, there is an urgent need to challenge the delegate in this conference to formulate a strategy that transforms from lofty ideals to strategic imperative for transforming Africa into an economic powerhouse. This collaboration is powerful. It's a powerful example of the possibilities of a shared purpose to empower communities and elevate the voices of African youth when the institutions come together. First and foremost, I want to celebrate a power force that is shaping Africa's future. This power force is none other than the African youth who are leading communities with Ubuntu. Ubuntu, as my young brother has explained very clearly, is an African philosophy, and it means I am because we are. This philosophy drives us towards collaborative, compassionate, communal, and interconnected Africa in order to unlock our full potential.
We have many programs that are running under the State Department for Youth. For example, we have had at least 4 sessions now, almost going to the 5th one in the near future, of Wazo. Wazo is a Swahili name coiled from idea. This is a platform where many youth from different walks of life come to interact with government officials and get a share, of an appreciation of what really works in the government from programs that can benefit them. We did one in a county called Bungoma. We did one here in Nairobi. We did one in Makueni, another one in Kwale, and we are planning now for the 5th one in Kiambu, which we have said we want to particularly make it a platform for all the student leaders in the country to come and engage with the government. These platforms that, like I've said, where we take different platforms to the communities in different counties, I think is one of the avenues that has made it possible to share information. Equally, we have structures, like for the State Department for Youth Affairs, we have youth officers in every region who are called the regional directors. We have youth officers in all the 47 counties who are called the county directors for youth. We have youth officers in all the constituencies who are called constituency youth officers. And the same is replicated in other agencies under the ministry, especially one called the Youth Fund, which I will talk about it. Youth Fund has their presence well in all the constituencies, 290 constituencies of Kenya. Equally, in the aspect of whole of government approach, other state departments like the Ministry of Interior equally have structures which go into our village levels. We have even the Nyumba Kumi ambassadors, a person who is only responsible of an administrative structure which does not go beyond 10 households. From as low as that level, we have people who can help us push this information.
It is with profound humility and immense pride that I welcome you to the 2025 CorpsAfrica All-Country Conference, our largest, boldest convening yet, right here in beautiful Nairobi, Kenya. Our theme, Leading with Ubuntu, African Youth Transforming the Continent, is not aspirational. It is reality. It is happening right here, right now, through the CorpsAfrica volunteers and the invited youth organizations with us today. To be standing here surrounded by hundreds of young African leaders, our volunteers, alongside our dedicated staff, alumni, and partners who believe deeply in the power and potential of Africa's youth, it's nothing short of awe-inspiring. We are grateful to MasterCard Foundation for their extraordinary partnership and encouragement. Allow me to share the story of CorpsAfrica, which I founded in 2011 with a vision to give young Africans the same opportunity I had as a Peace Corps volunteer, to live and serve in high-poverty communities, to listen, to learn, and to help find sustainable solutions from the inside out. But most importantly, to grow leaders who understand what it means to serve with humility, empathy, and courage. Today, more than 1,000 young Africans have served as CorpsAfrica volunteers, including 460 of our current volunteers. These young changemakers live for 1 year in some of the poorest and most remote villages in Africa. They eat what the people eat. They sleep where they sleep and build friendships and trust. They spend a year immersed in the realities of poverty, helping communities identify their top priority needs and bring to life projects that address real local challenges like clean water, schools, health clinics, women's cooperatives, and so much more that build resilience and economic stability. In return, they get the satisfaction of helping, the understanding of poverty that only comes from living it, and real-world, hands-on, problem-solving experience that builds critical thinking skills, humility, and empathy, which no classroom can teach. CorpsAfrica offers a crucial gateway and bridge from education to employment, helping our young people to identify and connect their passion and purpose. CorpsAfrica doesn't just change communities, it changes lives, and it creates leaders. Africa has the youngest population on Earth. Here in Kenya, more than 75% of the population is under 35. By 2030, 1 in every 3 people worldwide, 3 young people worldwide, will be African. Too often we hear this referred to as a youth crisis. At CorpsAfrica, we think this is not a crisis. This is Africa's greatest asset. It is a wave of energy, creativity, and leadership just waiting to be tapped. Youth are not the problem to be solved, they are the problem solvers.
Thank you very much. So for me, I served in Ghana, and before the transitioning, of course, when you are in research and you are doing some things, you don't sometimes feel the real impact. And CorpsAfrica gave me the opportunity to touch down lives. So when I see the kind of eyes that my community people look at me with, it makes me feel so fulfilled. And that's an opportunity I got in CorpsAfrica. Again, I found flaws I had to work on. I didn't know I had a sense of entitlement. I thought things just had to happen to me because I was in a certain position. But through my service, I found out that now I had to work hard. I had to fight for the things that I wanted. Because things do not just have to happen to me, but I have to work hard at them. So this kind of transformation is one of the main reasons why I also want to serve a second year. Because if just the first year can do this much to me, not just personally, but upon impact to other people in my professional life, then I'm looking forward to another year of transformation in Kenya. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Magombe Muzamil, an exchange volunteer from Uganda, currently serving in Kenya. My testimony with CorpsAfrica, it has been a remarkable journey because I started working with CorpsAfrica after I'd finished school. Remember, finishing school, this is not an opportunity that everyone receives. So I was taken up to volunteer in my country, Uganda, where I finished to serve, and I was given another opportunity to serve here in Kenya. And my story has been remarkable of appreciating the resources that we have as Africa and the power that is in our local communities, because each and every day that I see the joy and the impact that I've caused in my rural communities, I really will live a grateful man. Thank you.